Ladies and gentlemen, Freddy Fri is a life champion, entrepreneur, speaker, voiceover talent, which means he'll probably do this better than me, basketball coach, international underground hip-hop artist. Guess what? You never thought I'd be interviewing one of them. And motivational lyricist and speaker. Freddy is a man that wears many hats, and he's wearing one now as I speak to him, that all fit under one umbrella: life transformer. Freddy is a master at transforming, reinventing, and changing not only his persona, but the lives of other people. And he is known by many in numerous countries throughout the world as Playya 1000. Do you like that? That was good.
That's powerful.
These are words that I never thought I'd be saying. Playya 1000, hip-hop artist extraordinaire, but he made a decision to reinvent himself and combine the power of speech, story, spoken word, and hip-hop to become the empowering life transformer. Freddy Fri, your PushaMan. You see, I practiced that before. Whose mission is to help the masses make every day, you're going to love this, a WINSday. The reason he calls himself a life champion and he's so passionate about making every day a WINSday is because in spite of his mother passing away when he was only 4 years old, growing up in a home with a mentally abusive, drug-addicted stepmom, being bullied in school, selling drugs as a young adult, raising 4 children as a single dad, and not obtaining a bachelor's degree until 43, he still found a way to persevere through the adversity and win, not only financially, but mentally as well. He delivers stories from his own personal experiences in several unique ways to captivate, empower, and inspire people of all ages. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are talking to him right now. Freddy, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm excited. I'm just like pumped. I love the vocal tone, the accent, and the delivery of that intro. I just feel like I'm on top of the world right now, man. I'm winning.
Man, thank you so much. I had to practice. There are words in there that I never thought I would say. I'm nearly 45, and there are words in there that I never thought I'd say.
You did it, man. You hit that Playya real good. To push it, man. I'm pushing you to be the best version of yourself. I'm a player with this game of life with 1,000 ways to make you be better and do great things and tell my story and all that good stuff. You did phenomenal.
Oh man. Okay, so come on then. Right, let's go right back to the beginning. Tell us this story, because as I was reading it, and this sounds terrible that I'm even going to say this. It sounds like a storyline out of a soap opera. How the bloody hell are you still here? Because with all that adversity, to be perfectly honest, I'm really kind of shocked that I'm even talking to you right now.
Man, do you want to, and then remember I said I can do this a lot of different ways. You want me to tell the story in rap? You want me to tell the story in, what you want me to do? How you want me to do it? You want me to do something different?
Oh, go on, man. Do something different. Do it in the rap. Come on. You can't come on the podcast and not do a rap. Come on.
Let's go.
Okay.
This is my story. I tapped into my wildest dreams of being great. Demons threw their hook. I almost took the bait. Was hungry for success but couldn't get a plate. I wished for greatness early, but my genie only granted late. Mama sick. Doctor's diagnosis faulty. Prescriptions messed her kidneys up. That still haunts me. They told her not to have me, but she wouldn't abort. She said no, even if it cut her life short. So I'm in the car with mama slumping, daddy speeding. Her final breath was taken, left my heart bleeding. Age 4, my mommy got her wings early. I still question why she didn't live to see 30, y'all. Papa scooped me up and took me from that drama. At least it was until he met my stepmom. Crazy is as crazy does. She took the cake. I broke down cause I felt I couldn't catch a break. Another tale of a lost soul. Studies said that I wouldn't live to be old. Shy boy. Hoop dreams, world is so cold. They used to bully me, but then I finally struck gold. 1, 2, and you don't stop. I fell in love when I got introduced to hip hop. My new release, we all need a good release. See, when I put that pen to pad, it gave me total inner peace. So let me introduce the new me to me. Confidence erupted, I was truly thankful, blessed, no longer just a guest in my own mind. My friends, dig deep and you will find that greatness lives in you, so go retrieve it in your mind. Keep pushing through, be patient, it will happen in due time. See, the fish can only bite if you keep casting out your line. So believe in you. Block out the shade and let the sun shine on through. That's a piece of my story in a nutshell.
Wow, man. Oh, I'm so blessed to have heard that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are.
Man. Wow, that's something that I'm probably never going to have again on the show. That is just, well, nobody's going to beat it. So when did you start sharing your message with other people? What sort of people do you share your message with?
Well, you know, it's so funny because I'm blessed to be in an arena where I coach basketball, so I deal with a lot of youth. I deal with a lot of youth, and my business is actually youth basketball. I host youth basketball tournaments. I have a company called Court Time Events, and so each event that I actually have a setup called a success series. And I don't know if you're familiar with. Have you ever heard of Dr. Eric Thomas?
Yes, I have.
He's a hip hop preacher. He's one of the top motivational speakers in the world. I'm actually affiliated with him. I'm part of his program called Game Changers, and he does a weekly segment at Michigan State University called Secret to Success, and called a Success Series. Mm-hmm. And so he challenged me to host a Success Series at my basketball tournament. So I started hosting those, and so I pour life into the youth. And basically, what I tell people all the time is that people were transparent with me, and it helped me become transformed. That transparency helped me transform. And so now I use my transparency in hopes of helping other people transform. So we talk to student athletes, we talk to students, but at the same time, I also talk to everyday people who are just like me, that go through a lot in their life and they feel like they can't overcome. They feel like I'm stuck. I'm at a place where I can't go to another level. This is just who I'm going to be. And I'm living proof to say, no matter where you're at in your life, you never should be broken, because there's a breakthrough out there for you if you just keep believing. Because if I can do it, then anybody can do it.
Oh, cool, man. So you're talking about transparency. Talk to me about transparency. What kind of transparency are you talking about?
I'm talking about
that word. I'm just fascinated by you using that word transparency. That's all.
It's like I tell my story. I have so many stories of that you have to overcome. And so like when I speak, like if you see me live, I use a lot of my hip hop, a lot of my spoken word, and I teach from that. So I may say, like the first verse I said, I tapped into my wildest dreams of being great. Demons through their hook, I almost took the bait. Was hungry for success but couldn't get a plate. I wished for greatness early, but my genie only granted late. And so in life, everybody wants to be successful. They want to graduate high school, graduate college, and be successful at a young age. They want to be great early. Yeah. And it's not in the cards for all of us. And so I tell my story of the things that I went through, and I'm transparent. It wasn't in the card for me to be great and successful at an early age. I had to go through a whole bunch of drama, bad stepmom, selling crack, wind up having kids out of wedlock. I had 4 kids by the time I was 25 years old.
Wow.
And we grew up. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I grew up in North Tulsa, which is the hood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Went to the lowest performing schools, and so in your mind, when you kind of have that hood mindset, if you have kids, you never feel like you're going to be the one raising them. If you're not with your baby mama, if you're not with the lady you had the kids by, in the hood, they raise them. You know what I mean? And so I woke up one day, 25, 26 years old, I had 4 kids, 3 girls and 1 boy. And I had an epiphany. And I'm like, I could see all of the errors in my ways. I could see all the poor decisions and bad choices I had made. And the first thing I thought was, I have to gain custody of my children. And at that exact same moment, basically, I get a call from my kid's mother. And she's like, can you come get the kids right now? Because she's going through some stuff. And I was like, well, I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. 3 kids, ages 3 to 7. Wow. I went and got them. I didn't think it was going to be a full-time thing at that time. She called me back about a week later and said, okay, I'm a little bit better. Can you bring them back? I said, yes, under one condition. If I bring them back, if you call me again, I'm going to raise them. I'm going to raise them. I'm going to keep them. And she said, whatever. Yeah, don't worry. I am not going to call you back. Well, she did. About a month later. At the same time she called me, her sister called me and was like, listen, my sister is going through a lot right now. She's dealing with some situations. She's got the kids in an environment that's not going to help them grow. It's a detrimental environment. She said, you really need to get custody of your kids. And so the mom called me and said, "Can you get the kids again right now? You know, I'm still, I've relapsed into another situation."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Okay, now," I said, "But I'm gonna keep them." And of course, she's not thinking of him, because that's just not. Guys don't do that, especially with 4 kids. You know, I'm a young black male. I'm 25, 26 years old. What am I gonna do raising three girls and a boy? Can you imagine me doing hair and, you know, trying to get their hair right? You know,
I mean, man, we're apparently living in an enlightened world now, and the fact that you're saying it's kind of not, it's not kind of like sinking in, because it's a dad looking after 4 kids at the age of 25, 26. You know what? There are dads that barely look after the one child when they're 45, let alone when they're sort of 24 at 25, 26. So that's pretty out there. That's way out there for that time, man.
It's way out there. So soon as I went and picked them up, they were living in the ghetto. And I was living in a little bit better place. I was doing music, so I wasn't, as we say, balling. I didn't have a whole bunch of money, but I was doing better than she was at the time. Yep. So could you imagine me as a 25-year-old black male going into their school and withdrawing them from school? That would not happen. The way I did it, I just went up there and basically withdrew them out of their school. And they just, and they knew, it was like, okay, ain't no black guy gonna come up here and just take 3 kids. They gotta be his kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I withdrew them. I got them enrolled in the school out by where I live, which was a much better school. Mom called me about 3 weeks later. Well, can you bring the kids back? I was like, they don't even go to the same school anymore. And so we had a heart-to-heart, and I was like, listen, I know you're going through some things right now. And the kids even told me it was some rough things going on. Matter of fact, shortly after I gained custody of the kids, the guy she was dating got murdered.
Oh, wow.
He was trying to rob somebody, got murdered. And the kids were like, it was just some bad things going on. Yeah. And so here's the crazy part, where people really think this was some divine intervention. We never went to court. It wasn't like we went to court and I gained custody. I just said, I'm going to keep the kids, and that's what's going to happen. And she never fought it. She never fought it. And they spent a little bit of time with her as they got older, which I learned that wasn't really the best thing, but it is their mom, so it's kind of hard not to let her have some time with them. But and that was it. I mean, I had the kids from that moment on. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment, kids sleeping on a pallet. They're excited. I'm stressed and I'm spazzing. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I figured it out. But I knew my job was to keep them out of harm's way. And so I tell my kids are older now, and I tell them to this day, I try to give you all the best advice. I may not have been, I feel like if I had to do a class for single fathers, I would definitely say you need to make sure you find a way to make your kids not want to let you down. And so I think sometimes rules with our relationship lead to rebellion. And I think I had rules, and I don't feel like I had the relationship, because I had to turn into the mom and the dad, and I wasn't at that moment in time able to I didn't know that. Yeah. And so I just had rules. This is what we need to do. I know this is how you be successful. A, B, 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 CCD. And that's what we tried to live by. But so I would just, I look back on it, and I'm glad I did it, but I wish I would have knew a little bit more. But I was 25. I shouldn't even have 4 kids at the time.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I couldn't even take care of myself.
I know. Well, we can't. Most of us can't take care of ourselves in our 40s, let alone
right.
20s, man. So tell me how you got round to starting a business. You've got all this going on. You've got, I'm going to be honest here. It sounds just like the way you look at it now is probably very different to back then, but it was almost like you've got all this baggage going on, and we don't kind of realize that life experiences are life experiences until we have that exact science of being able to look back. Hindsight is probably the biggest and the most precise science in the world, because we know what's happened.
Very, very true.
How the hell did you start your own business with all this baggage going on, still with 4 kids sort of like kicking around? Tell me how that happened.
This is crazy. It's a true story. I tell people, sometimes you're living in your gift, you're living in your actual occupation later on in life, and you don't even realize it. You're actually going. I started college early, But here's the thing. I was blessed to be a naturally smart individual, naturally book smart individual. And like I told you, I went to low performing schools. The high school I graduated from was the lowest performing school in the state at the time. But I graduated number 4. Never had any homework. I never was pushed. It was so easy to me.
Yeah.
But what happened, it didn't prepare me for college. When you got to college, you really did need to study. You really did, you know. Yeah. And I was in the street selling drugs and trying to go to college and trying to have a hip hop career at the same time. So I had 3 things going on and being reckless in my lifestyle. And so I wound up dropping out of college. That just wasn't the time and place for me. Wind up getting custody of my kids, 3 girls and a boy. And I look back and I'm like, I don't know how we made it through. Doing all kind of odd jobs. I wasn't a guy that just would go work a 9 to 5. As they got a little bit older, I had like a regular job for a little bit. But other than that, I was hustling. I was a CD man. I was selling my Playya 1000 CDs and all kind of stuff. I was just hustling. But one thing that did happen, I remember I said in the rap, I said I had hoop dreams. I was a shy boy hoop dream. Well, I always used to play basketball. I was a basketball player and a point guard, student of the game, loved the game. And so I was dating a young lady who had a son. This is what's so crazy. I had 4 kids, right? I wound up dating a young lady that had 5.
Wow.
Yes.
What is it like? Is it like a show from the Partridge Family?
Man,
what the hell?
Oh,
hey, look at me with my American references, Gary. Come on.
That's good. Unreal. I can't make this stuff up. 5 kids. I was 21, and this was before I got my kids, so I started dating her because I wasn't with the baby's mom anymore. And that's a whole nother story. But anyway, she had a son that played basketball, and so I kind of took him under my wing and I started coaching him. And so I started coaching in a league in school, basketball. And, you know, I kind of was coaching him and then started coaching some other boys and kind of got into what they call the AAU club side of things. And during that time, of course, my kids were getting a little bit older. The lady I was dating, me and her had daughters that were the exact same age. So when my oldest daughter, which both of our daughters turned 9, they were in the 3rd grade. Well, her daughter was tall because she had the daughter's father was a basketball player. He was about 6'8".
Wow.
So she was tall. My daughter was short because I'm a shorty, but she was fast. And so I've been coaching boys basketball for about 2 or 3 years at the time. And I was like, well, they 3rd grade now. And I think I got something in the mail that said, you know, hey, you want to put together a team for a rec league or something. And so her daughter was tall, my daughter was fast. There was some other 3rd grade kids in the school that they went to. So I said, let's put a team together. So I put a team together and we started playing. And that team got really, really good. And as far as that team goes, girls from that team, all the girls on that team went to college. And I'm talking to big colleges like Georgetown, like Tennessee, like Baylor, like they were that good. They were some of the best girls that ever played in the state of Oklahoma. So anyway, throughout the course of me coaching them, we would go pay to play in other people's tournaments. And me and one of the dads, who was my assistant coach at the time, we just kind of started looking at the numbers. It was like, wow, if he has so many teams, we're paying a fee to get in, we're paying to get in the door, there's a concession stand, there's a good amount of money being generated. And so we had always told ourselves as our girls got a little older, after we would start hosting tournaments, because he was only basically doing 1 a month and sometimes 2 a month. So we finally got up a courage to start hosting tournaments. And let me tell you, we had no connections. So our the first tournament we hosted was in the hood, and people don't like to play in the hood. So we were at rec centers in the hood, and we had what we call a $99 special, but we started. We started. We started in the hood, and matter of fact, we had one gym that we had to quickly get out of that gym because a week after we had a tournament there, somebody got killed at that gym.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
it was that bad. It was that bad. And so me and him started this company called Gym Time Hoops. And we just started having tournaments once a month. We were following the other guy's model. We were following his model. Okay, he does it once a month, let's do it once a month. Sometimes we'll do it twice a month. Let's make sure that we don't have tournaments the weekends he's having tournaments. So everything was basically his idea. We were just trying to model his thing. And we were doing it, and we created a little bit of a name. We got a little bit of we built relationships. We just were, me and him as business partners, we were basically two different people. He was more of a, he was a little bit more money driven. I was a lot less money driven. He was more of a paperwork guy. I was more of a shake hand, kiss baby, customer service type guy.
Yeah.
We couldn't get over the hump though. I couldn't get over the hump. I kept splitting money. And so about 3 years in, I was 3 months behind on my rent, but I had a company, but I was broke.
Yeah.
You know? And so I made a decision. We had some other internal issues that happened between me and him. And about 3 months prior to me making this, leaving, I made a decision that I was going to leave. And so I finally, the day came, I was like, listen, man, I can't split anymore. You can have the name, you can have everything. I'm going to start over. And he was like, you know, you don't want to be out there by yourself. You can't do this by yourself. That doubt. And people going to doubt you, and they're going to tell you that you can't do it. Yeah. Whenever anybody ever doubted me, it just made me want to try harder and give more. But what I did was, and this is the message in this whole deal, is when I stepped away from that partnership and I sat down, the first thing I did before I decided to host another event was I self-assessed and I figured out what were the gaps, what were the problems, what problem can I solve hosting basketball tournaments. Yeah. So I sat back and thought about all of my experience in playing in tournaments and hosting them. And the first thing I said was, most tournaments are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Well, most people want to go to church on Sunday. Yeah. So people don't really care to play on Sunday. They do it because it was just the culture that was created. And so people conform and they play on Sunday. So I said, I wonder if it would be lucrative enough for me to try to have a Saturday only tournament. That would solve the problem of people playing on Sunday. And I said, okay, let me try that and see if that will work. And then I said, what about when should I have the tournaments? And I thought about us, and we were trying to follow somebody else's motto, and we were trying to stay away from, we thought in our mind, well, he had the best dates. And so let's try to have the second best dates. And it hit me. I was like, you know what? Let me just make this like a weekly job. Let me just have a tournament every Saturday. Let me stop trying to guess when people want to play and just make it available. Like, you can have it your way. Any Saturday you want to play, it's available. Yeah. And so that's what I did. I started Saturday only tournaments. I started doing them every week. And that was 10 years ago. And man, it grew so fast. It was just, I mean, when people tell you, when they make certain choices and certain decisions and they see the results immediately, it's like I saw the results. Like in 3 months time, everything was different in my life. Everything was different in my life. I mean, I bet on myself and I hit on my bet. And I tell you, make sure when you're following your dream and your goal, make sure it's your dream and your goal. Yeah, people are going to give you some, like without the other gentleman that was running tournaments, I wouldn't be running tournaments because I wouldn't know to do them or to make them exist. But take the idea and make it yours. Don't follow somebody else's idea to the letter of the law. So me coaching eventually led to me running my business. And I had to fall down and fail and start back over to get to the place that I'm at now. And, you know, now people call me, you know, they know I'm going to, hey, what you got this Saturday? What you got that Saturday? And it's just grown. It's grown. And I'm in great facilities. You know, I'm not in the hood facilities no more. Yeah. Nothing against them, but I just know my clientele, it allows me to give back to teams that are less fortunate. So it's a lot of philanthropy as I'm able to prosper because of the choices and decisions I made when I made a decision at the right time to break away and do me, in a sense, do me.
Yeah. Man, that's beautiful. I love to hear that sort of thing. I've been working with many clients that, one especially that quite recently, it's really interesting you said the word doubt, where somebody has sort of like come along saying, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. And this guy, when we met up about 18 months ago, nearly 2 years ago now, actually, he was in exactly the same position where he was surrounded by negative people saying, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And then we sat down, we had a coffee, and I kind of went, oh, actually, no, this really can work. And then within 6 months, it changed his life. It really has. You know, he's gone from making, you know, small bucks to big bucks.
Yeah.
In the space of 2 years. And I couldn't be happier for him. And as a coach, there are elements of coaches out there that would go, yeah, that's all down to me. Bollocks. No, it's not. It's actually down to him.
Yes.
Because it's his drive, his desire. He wakes up in the morning thinking about his business. He goes to sleep thinking about his business. There are times I have to tell him to actually go to sleep. That would help, which really does help. But quite recently, he's just been to an event where somebody came up to him and sort of like said, look, I've come to hear you speak. And we're in the same industry, and then sat next to him, and it was a little bit uncomfortable. And he sort of like he told his story of how he's got to where he is. Yes. And then this guy decided that he was going to have a conversation with my client, and effectively for 10 minutes talked at him, telling him that he had no right to be helping other small businesses in that niche or in that industry based on his story.
Wow.
It's the maddest thing ever. And he's a really kind of positive guy. And when we sat down about a week later, he turned around and said, look, you know I shouldn't let it bother me, but you knew that was like the earworm, you know, it was like in there, it was really niggling at it. And doubt is probably one of the biggest thieves of creativity. It's probably one of the biggest robbers of time and energy, if I'm honest. And it's just, you know, sometimes you just have to surround yourself with positive people and just
you do. Winning circle. You gotta have a winning circle, man. You gotta have a winning circle.
Absolutely. Matt, I asked you, right, so there are things that you were proud of and things that you're not so proud of. So we'll do the not so proud of first.
Let's go.
Because I like finishing on a positive, so that's what
I do too.
All right, so I asked you things that you're not so proud of. Dude, I'm going to ask, how the hell did you end up selling crack cocaine in your early 20s, man? I mean, come on, you know, and this is a guy that, okay, perhaps I'm a bit sheltered. I kind of get it. I'm a little bit sheltered, but I never understand what decisions people make that lead them to that way. So,
let me tell you. Okay, again, so crack cocaine somewhat hit our town around 86, 85, 1980s, right?
Yeah.
I was in high school. I had just started being part of this rap group called the DC Boys. Mm-hmm. It was 4 of us in the group. My best friend, Daryl, which he's still with me to this day, we were the same grade. So we were in 11th grade. The 2 other guys were 12th grade, right? So they graduated. We're still in school. So, you know, we still doing our little fun rap thing and all that stuff, but we still was a group. Still mm-hmm. in a group. So they would come over to the house, but all of a sudden they would have money. And when I used to work for this company called Mid-America Teens when I was in my team. And a guy would come by in a blue van and he would pick us up and we would go across into the better communities and we'd sell candy and candles and different stuff like that. And we'd make about 75 cents a sale, right? Yeah. So, you know, you go to school. When I was in middle school, early high school, I'd have $15, $20 in my pocket. I'm like, I'm paid. Everybody's like, you can get the cookie. You can, you know what I mean? You can, that's money. That was money. No. These dudes were having hundreds. They were coming to the house with hundreds, you know, like, I'm like, dude, where y'all getting all this money from? This don't make any sense. And they would tell you it was so new, it wasn't any shame. We selling drugs. Y'all doing what? Y'all crazy. I would never do that. That's what me and D said. I would never do nothing like that. Why would y'all do something like that? Man, I'm telling you, we getting all this money. We making this money. And we saw it. And so I vowed never to do it. That was my thought process. Got a little bit older. And the young lady I was dating, she lived in the projects. So I was always at her house. And this young lady, it was my kid's mother. She wound up being my kid's mother. Well, her brother was like, man, I know your dudes. They can get that stuff, man. If you can just get it and bring it out here, I'll sell it for you. like, man, I'm not messing with that stuff. I was scared. I had no heart. I was from the hood, but I wasn't the hood dude. You know what I mean? I was not a hardcore gangster type guy. I was shy. I was introverted. I was quiet. I was bullied. Like I said, I tried to stay away from that stuff. And so, but I wound up having a kid. I was broke, and I was actually broken. And so they made it so easy for me to get it. I was scared to death, and as we say in I was scared to death with an F. But I had easy access because I could get it from my guy and just give it to him. And that's what I did. I got it, and I'll give it to him. And man, he started smoking the crack, and it's like, oh God, he started messing up the money, and it was so bad. And I finally tried to get up the nerve enough to sell it myself. And we were in another project, and this is how crazy it got. This is how I always think about my mom. I always think my mom is my guardian angel, because we were in another set of projects where my kid's mother, her best friend, lived with her husband. Well, they sold drugs. And so they sold drugs. And so I had like a little bit of drugs, and I was like trying to sell it, but I was so scared. But we took it over with us to their house, right? And their house was hot. And so what they mean by that is that the police were watching their house. I didn't really know, but it was hot. And so me and her friend's husband, for some reason, we left and went somewhere. And when we came back, when you pull into the apartments, there's like a gap where you can see to their apartment, and we thought we saw police cars, and our hearts just dropped. It's like, oh my God, let's hope they didn't raid the house. And so there was a myth in the hood at the time that if the police raided your house, if a female was in the house, if she would put the drugs on her, they wouldn't search her. Because I guess the myth was there would only be men cops there, and they couldn't search female. So we come around the corner, right? We didn't see police cars, and we were like, oh God, thank goodness. It just must have been an optical illusion or something. Well, it wasn't. As soon as we pulls up, he had two twins. His kid's mom come out holding the twins, crying. They just came and they just took them two girls to jail and da 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 da. But what happened was my kid's mother put his drugs on her and my drugs. He had way more drugs than I had. I had like a little bit, like what we call, like I had like $50 worth. He had like $1,000.
Wow.
Well, she put his $1,000 worth in her pocket. She put my little 220 rocks in her bra. So where she was at when she got arrested was called Osage County. So they had to take her to Tulsa County Jail first. They found his drugs on her for the Osage case. They found my little 220 rocks in Tulsa County, so she got a contraband charge, which eventually they threw out. Here's the crazy part. Her best friend told the police that was my husband's drugs. She just told, that's not mine, that was her, that was his. They took all the charges because they knew my kid's mother didn't sell drugs. Yeah. They knew what she did. They took the drug charges off of her, put it on him. My name never came up. Never came up. I have no idea to this day how I never came up. I never was implemented. I never got charged with anything. And needless to say, I never sold a drug again. And my story could be so different because he went to jail. He went to the penitentiary, and I was right there, and I was just blessed that basically what was mine, they threw out because it was in another county. But that's what happened, man. That's how it happened. Hey, that's how it happened, and that's how it ended.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. Your mum must have been, is possibly the best guardian angel ever.
Oh my God, had to be.
Ever. Yeah, you owe her so much. So here we go. I've got things that you're proud of, apart from raising 4 fantastic kids. That's doing that. I'm really interested in the fact that your number one is having the strength to persevere and overcome adversity to be the man that I am today. And I think that's genuinely important, especially for business owners, because it is such a fucking lonely place to be.
Yes.
Things are going wrong, when things are going completely tits up.
Yes.
It's a great place to be when you're successful and you're, Bobby Big Knob, sort of like
Bobby Big
swinging your tackle around, going, look at me, aren't I bleeding fantastic?
Right.
But, you know, what did give you the strength, and what gave you the energy, the passion to persevere, when actually, to be perfectly honest, you know, and I'm not saying this lightly, there are far more people than I could probably throw a stick at that would have just given up, blamed other people, had a stack of excuses as to why the kids didn't turn out right, as to why they didn't turn out right, as to why their business didn't turn out right. How have you found that strength and that passion and that power, my friend?
To be honest, I think it's because I try to genuinely give from my heart, and sometimes to a fault. I think sometimes they talk about this in sports, and they talk about like rookies. A rookie may come into the NBA and he may be in a situation that really is bigger than him, like a playoff situation. And he may perform out of his mind. And what they say sometimes is he was too young to know better, to really think about it. And I think in my life, I think I've always kind of carried that mantra. I never let anything be bigger than it needed to be. And I dealt with each moment as an individual moment, and I tried to find the message in that mess at a particular time. And I believe that because I struggled, like my youngest daughter is the only one that got to see a little bit of success, you know, a little bit of quote unquote good life, if you want to call it that. Because when I had my other kids, it was struggle. It was hard. I don't know how we made it through. We did, but it was hard. You know, just certain things that they want to do, I couldn't do. And I remember, like I told you, I coached basketball, and my team was really good. My oldest daughter's 6th grade year, we went to play in AAU Nationals in Kingsport, Tennessee, which is about 15 hours from where I live. I was driving a raggedy van. The car door broke off on the way down there. I was so broke, and we were doing so good that I could not afford for my team to win another game, because we would have to stay another night in the hotel, and I didn't have any more money. And mind you, I'm the head coach, so really I should have been having the parents pay for everything for me. But I'm an add value guy, and I never wanted to ask people for money. And so I did that. Like I said, sometimes I did it to a fault. And I truly believe, because of everything that I did to give to other people, in the long run, I was blessed to have the success that I'm having right now. And I was blessed to have the strength to overcome and go through all the stuff that I went through, and not lose my mind, and stay composed and stay positive in a life that was dark. I had a dark life that I had to find a way to manufacture the light in my life. I had to manufacture light to keep myself on a positive plane and be positive. And I'm sure my kids had no idea that we were struggling the way we were struggling, because I tried my best to make sure I kept them away from negativity, kept them away from ignorance, kept them away from things that would be harmful and detrimental to them. And so I just feel like I firmly believe that my heart and the way that I added value to others ultimately led me to have the value and the favor that's coming to me now.
Man, yeah, this is a great way to be finishing off the podcast. And as a British guy, right, here's the thing. Do you know what I picked up in that story? It's very random. That you Americans like to drive everywhere. Right? For 15 hours to get somewhere. Oh my God, here in the UK, if we drive for longer than 3 hours, we are angry mothers. I'll tell you. Honestly, I live in the centre of the UK, and sort of going up to, my partner loves Scotland, and we went up to Scotland last year and the year before. It's like a 5-hour drive. I am like the worst person in the car at that
my God. Are we there yet?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like that. And after 15 hours, no. In my head, all I'm thinking is, get the plane. That's all I'm thinking.
You sound like my friend. He does not trying to drive.
No, exactly. I have this conversation with people in marathons, when people run marathons and they run 26 miles. If you need to go 26 miles, that's why we invented the car. Get in it. Doesn't make any sense, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But it was, honestly, that was no way I would have been able to afford to fly for a kid.
I know what I mean? Unless you put them in boxes. No,
exactly. We could have did that now.
Exactly. We're not advocating that, listeners.
No,
we're not advocating
not at all.
Your
Never that.
Boxes. Not at all. It's wrong, especially when you're alive. Right,
exactly.
So, right, and I'm going to spring this on you because do you know what? I enjoyed your rap so much at the start of this podcast. Do you know what? I would really love you to finish off this podcast with another one of your raps. Would that be cool?
I got you.
Man.
I got you.
Man, the air is all yours. Go for it.
Let's go. They gave me life and tried to throw away the key. I asked for game, they tried to charge a major fee. I wanted blessing. Pastor said a prayer for me. I told him I'll be great, but for some reason they all doubted me. Undoubtedly, I proved them wrong. Broke the curse, stood strong. Greatness kept on calling me. I finally made it to the phone.
Freddy Fri, ladies and gentlemen, what a man, what a man. Freddy, where can people find you? Where can they come and be just touched by your huge rays of sunshine? Where can they find you?
Man, it's all about Freddy Fri Motivation from me on Facebook. You can if you just search Freddy Fri Motivation, you'll find me. YouTube, Freddy Fri Motivation. Instagram, Freddy Fri Motivation. You'll find me. And we release, like you say, raise the sun to the world. Our ultimate goal is for you to overcome your mess, figure out the message in your mess, and make every day a Wednesday. And that's WINSday. Every day a Wednesday. We're trying to give you the tools and empower you with things to help you overcome and win every day. So ultimately you win it life. Freddy Fri, FREDDY FRI Motivation on all social media platforms. Come subscribe, and we got something for you pretty much every day.
Guys, I will put all the links in the show notes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Mr. Freddy Fri.
My honor and privilege, man. Thanks so much.